Hi, I'm Clare Cleveland, and we're going to address our hardworking feet today. So I recommend a ball, something approximately this size, and something that has a little bit of a give to it. Another possibility, believe it or not, is a dryer ball. These are rather cheap. You can find them sometimes at hardware stores. But anything that has a bit of give is going to be much more comfortable than something as hard as a tennis ball. So you want to make sure you have a little bit of squishiness to the ball that you use, and we'll start standing. So we start standing, and for a moment, just feel yourself standing and feel your feet. Just get a sense of them. Feel how much weight is on the front, the back, and the sides, and feel where you feel more comfortable sort of resting your weight, and feel if there's a difference between the right and left foot. So just take a moment and feel that quality in your feet. And then we're going to start with the ball under the toes. So start with the toes kind of lifted up on the edge of the ball, and allow your toes to spread a little bit. And then we're going to start by rolling up over the ball and giving ourselves a little bit of pressure into that ball until we reach the heel. Once we get there, we're going to bring the ball back and begin that again. You want to stand in such a way that you can push down firmly into the ball. So you want the ball to not be too far away from your center of gravity. So I'm pushing down, I'm smashing the ball and rolling it to my heel. Once I get to the heel, I release and come back. Then we do this about 8 to 10 times per side. And see if you can just kind of sink in, relax, and feel that you're breathing also in a really relaxed way. We'll take about 4 more. So we smash and roll the ball to the heel, release and come back. Smash, roll the ball to the heel, release and come back. And we'll do that 2 more times. And 1 more time. And then we're going to stay on this same side. So we're going to work this same side for a bit. So I'm going to come back to where I started before, which was the toes up on the edge like this. And then I'm going to grab hold of the ball with all 5 toes. I'm going to turn this way just so you can see more clearly how the foot is positioned. And then from here, what we're going to do is roll through the ankle. So I actually let my foot completely roll to one side, right at the level of the ankle joint. So making sure that that's where the motion is occurring. And then I roll to the inside as well. And you'll notice that it's much easier to go to the outside, so to the little toe side of the foot, than it is to go to the big toe side. But you're trying to go with just about the same amount of intensity to the 2 sides, knowing that you will naturally go a little further to that little toe side. And an important detail is that my knee is bent, so I'm not trying to keep that knee straight, and I'm still trying to really work the movement in the ankle joint. So I'm completely going into what's called supination, and then I'm going a little bit into what's known as pronation. So the outer edge in that supination action is coming completely down on the floor, or to the best of your ability, and then to the inside. And we'll do that just 1 more time. And again, here is about maybe 8 reps or so. And then we'll begin again to do that smash and roll. So in between each exercise, we'll do a little bit of that smash and roll release. And maybe just about 4 times in between. And again, breathing easy and relaxed. And then here we get to just under the heel. So I can think of this as lining up with my ankle bone. So the apex of the ball is lined up with the ankle bone there. And then I'm going to start to internally rotate from the top of my leg and step down in such a way that I'm kind of pinching the ball to the floor, between my foot and the floor. And then I lift up and I turn, and now I'm externally rotating my hip. And I'm pinching the ball down on this side. So I'm doing kind of this spin around my heel. And I'm turning my whole leg, however. So I've got this internal and external rotation from my hip happening to allow me to spin. And you'll notice that the pivot is the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot is pivoting on the floor as the heel goes up and over. And again, I'll show from a different angle here. So we rotate, internal rotation at the hip, external rotation, and I'm giving enough pressure to feel a nice massage in the arch of my foot, right where the plantar fascia meets the underside of the heel. And maybe we do just about 2 more sets, one side, and the other side. And again, noticing the breath. And the other side. And then we'll finish off once again with that smash and roll. Again, feeling the breath, feeling the release through that bottom of that foot. And then we're done with that foot. And you'll notice now when you stand on your own 2 feet again, you'll notice perhaps a real grounded quality through the side you worked on, and may even feel like the foot is much flatter. All right, and so we're gonna go to the other side. But what I didn't say previously was that if you need something to hold on to here, make sure you have a chair or something that helps you balance. All right, here we go with the second side. All right, so I've got the ball under my toes and just kind of letting them widen and spread across the ball. And then I'm gonna start with my smash and roll movement. And I'm just getting some good downward pressure, sliding all the way to my heel. And I reposition my standing leg because it helps me get a little more downward pressure if the ball is right underneath my center of gravity. So I'm smashing that ball down, rolling it to the heel. Finally, when I get to the heel, I let up on the pressure and bring it back. And as I push down, I'm also maintaining a little bit of a bend in my knee. And breathing easy breaths here. Noticing whether you tend to hold your breath, make sure you're releasing the breath. You release the tension in your body when you let your breath flow. And we'll take about 3 more smashes and rolls. Exhaling. And then we'll get the toes once again up on the edge of the ball. They're sort of flared wide once again. And then I'm going to kind of come up over the top, grab hold of the ball, and then I'm ready to rotate again to the outside edge of the foot, the pinky toe side, the little toe side, and then rolling to the inside. And I'm getting that full supination and a little bit of pronation. And please feel free to modify your range. You may not necessarily make it all the way to touch the floor. That's no problem. Some movement in here is really what we're going for. So the movement is focused in on the ankle joint itself. And I rotate in and out. And again, noticing your breath. Releasing tension by using a releasing breath. Rotating outside to that outer edge of the foot, rotating to the inside, and maybe 1 more set, rotating to the outside, and rotating to the inside. And then in between each, we go for that smash and roll, maybe about 4 on the in-between moments. Getting that good tissue, 4 to release the bottom of the foot. And then we get to the heel. And once again, I'm lining up with the center of my ankle over the apex of the ball. And then I internally rotate from the top of my hip, turning in, and I push down to a straight leg, smushing the ball on the inside of the foot. And then I come up and over the top and then smash it down on the outside of my heel. So we're going to the inside and the outside. Coming up over the top of the ball, and then feeling that pressure going into the arch of the foot a little bit. So further releasing the tissue on the bottom of the foot in this cross pattern. Turning the whole leg in, and then turning the whole leg out. So even though my focus is still the foot, the action is initiated from the hip joint. And my pivot is the ball of the foot spinning on the floor. And maybe one more set. And then we're gonna smash and roll once again. Finishing out this foot. And one little trick too is to push straight down and make sure that you aren't tipping your foot down, otherwise you run into the floor. So keeping the foot kind of level, parallel to the floor. 2 more to release. And then we'll let that side go and we'll feel both feet on the floor. And now hopefully you feel both sides are a little more equal weight in your 2 feet. And then I recommend also taking a walk and just feeling this. So you could take a break at this moment if you want to feel the effects of just that part. We're going to move on to some strengthening work for the feet now. And for this purpose, we'll be seated on a stool. So get yourself a stool that's a comfortable height. Ideally, your hip joints are a little higher than your knees, so there's a down slope from your hip to your knees. And so this is my stool. And so here we go. So I'm gonna have my feet out in front of me and I'm gonna lift all 10 toes. And then I'm gonna bring my 10 toes down to the carpet. And that might be a challenge in and of itself. So just feel that for a couple repetitions. And I'll also show from this angle so you can see. So we've got all 10 toes elevated up and then widening and landing on the carpet. So we lift up, widen, and land on the carpet. And then we're gonna add to that action. I'm gonna land on the carpet, and then I'm gonna act like I'm almost trying to pick up the carpet fibers, lift them up, and then open my toes and bring the toes back down. So it's like I'm grabbing a hold of the carpet, lifting up, dropping it back down. And now we'll add further to that. We're gonna let our toes pull the whole foot along the floor. So I'm scooting along the floor with the action of the toes and the arches of the feet. And then I get out to where I can't really go any further, and then I'm gonna lift up in reverse. So now I'm gonna curl my toes down. Tips of the toes are gonna reach the carpet. I'm gonna lift my heels, and then I'm gonna unfold the toes and reach the heels down. So I lift the toes up, I curl them as if to grab onto something with my toes. I bring them to the floor, and I roll back. So we lift up, curl the toes, tips of the toes go down, lift the heels, and roll back. And then we can repeat that. And now that you have those details, you can go a little bit more fluidly, a little more continuously, scooting the feet along the floor, using the strength of the bottoms of the feet, and then we'll reverse it. Dive the toes down, roll through the whole bottom of the foot, lifting the heels at the end. And we'll repeat that again, going forward and breathing easy breaths here. And then we lift up, curl the toes, bring them down, roll through. And resting that. All right, so that helps to strengthen the bottoms of the feet. After they're open, it's a really nice way to work the bottoms of the feet. All right, from here, we're gonna work a little bit with the ankles. So we're gonna elevate the heels and lower them down. And elevate the heels and lower down. Simple but good work for the ankles and the calves. And check in to see, do you have equal weight on the two sides of the feet? And so by that I mean, are your big toes as weighted as your little toes? And can you make sure that that's true so that the ankles aren't wagging off to the side, nor are they pinched to the center? So you've got good alignment. You've got equal weight through those toes. And you'll feel that there's sort of an apex or a center point around which your feet are organized. And it happens to be kind of right around this second toe. So as you rise up, you're going to feel that axis going down through the second toe. And one more like that. Just getting that good alignment. And now we're going to play with that a little bit. So we're going to raise the heels just slightly, bring the ankles towards each other, and then we're going to go around to the outside. So now you are purposefully weighting the big toe side and then moving across the toes to the little toe side and then bringing the heels back down. So we are purposefully shifting the weight across all of the toes with the circling action of our ankles. So we want to have some strength and mobility in all of these directions. One more this direction, and then we're going to reverse it. And we're going to go out to the little toe side, across to the big toe side, and down. Little toe side, across to the big toe side, and down. And one more like that. And down. All right, very good. So we're going to come back to the floor again for a slightly deeper stretch, deeper bit of work for the bottoms of the feet. So if it's available to you to be on your knees like this, then this is a good series for you. If not, there are other modifications that I'll probably give in another video series at some point. But if you're able to come into a full kneel, this is a great exercise for you. And what we're going to do first is come up onto all fours, tuck the toes, and let the toes kind of spread out. And you're going to feel, hopefully, with this pressure, you're going to feel a beginning stretch through the bottom of the foot. And then you're going to let that stretch deepen by sending your sit bone back to your heel. So you're going to put some weight in that foot, and it's going to be a rather intense stretch for the toes and the bottom of the foot. And then you can come off of that side, point the toes, and then change sides. So we lift up, we tuck the toes, and we allow them to kind of wiggle and spread. And so feel yourself getting into position with the toes, and then you can hinge back, send your sit bone towards that heel to put more weight on it. And then we'll just breathe here for one moment, and then we're going to come off of that side and untuck the toes. I'll try that just one more time on each side. So I get my toes tucked under, I let them flare a little bit, then I bring my sit bone towards my heel, and I get a little additional stretch in the bottom of that foot. I come off of that side, point the toes, and then try the other side, tucking the toes, hinging back, and take care that the ankle is still really well aligned. So you're not putting more weight to the outside, more weight to the inside. You feel like you've got equal weight on all of those toes. And then coming off of that, and then you can give your hands a little break. If it's possible to kneel here, it's also a good stretch for the top of your ankle. If you need a break without doing that, you can take a break seated. All right, we're going to take it the next level up. So we do both feet at the same time. So we bring the feet into this toe tuck, and the feet are about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit narrower. And I hinge back and I check it out. I see, okay, can I be back here with my sit bones? If this is enough, you can just stop here and enjoy the stretch from this position, sending your weight back to your sit bones. If you want to go for the next level, you're going to elevate your spine and really put some extra weight back there. So we take our feet, and I'll take them in this direction so that you can see the alignment of the bottoms of the feet. The tendency might be to the little toe side of the foot. See if you can organize your ankles and your heels in such a way that they're pointing straight back. That is not an easy task. And then once you're there, you can really feel that intense stretch in the bottom fascia, the plantar fascia on the bottoms of the feet, and the toes will be talking to you too. Main thing here, breathe in a relaxed way, maybe about 2-3 breath cycles. Enjoying the intensity of this stretch, and then you can release, untuck your toes, and come down. You can get a little counter stretch by just simply bringing the sit bones back to the heels with the toes pointed out. And that's going to stretch the top of the ankles a bit. And then if you want more in this position, you can take your hands to either side of your knees and then elevate one knee up. And that's going to really intensify the stretch of the front of the ankle. So totally optional, but if you want more stretch at the front of your ankles, you can do this little knee lift. And that's really stretching through the top of the foot and the top of the ankle. And then we're going to stand up from here and just see the effects of our work. So go ahead and stand up and shake out your feet and ankles and just feel your body weight in your 2 feet. And then just take a little walk and see how your exercises have impacted the quality of contact with your feet on the floor and how your balance feels as well. So you can even test your balance and feel the groundedness of your feet, see what impact your work has had on your balance. All right, I hope this has been a useful series for your feet, and enjoy. Happy feet.